Coming to you live from Willow Grove, it's the 10 Point Podcast. My name is Bruce, and this podcast, it isn't a podcast, it's a machine. It's a complete recreation of Basilius's design. According to the book, there should be 2 earthbound spirits trapped inside here. First, he's the Charlie Manson of ghosts, it's Chris.
Hi.
Hi. And secondly, hey bro, you ain't nothing but a bitch. It's Andy.
I got nothing from that.
I think that was Matthew Lillard shouted that, I think, at one point. I can't really remember. We are a 10-point podcast. You should know that by now. This is episode 170-something in total, maybe 60-something. Anyway, we're getting close to our live episode 200 special that we've not discussed since we mentioned it on the podcast last time. But I've had a couple of ideas and I've been thinking about it. I've now forgotten what film I thought would be good for us to do. But anyway, Google 10 Point Podcast, you will find us on the internet and all our many different sources you can find us. The main ones being all your podcast apps. Spotify is our favourite one. You can watch video versions over on Spotify too. And on YouTube, the 10 Point Broadcast over there, we can see video versions of us being silly and Andy trying to remember which film he watched this week, I think is what he's up to at the moment.
Nope.
No.
I watched something, I have no idea.
Random aspects that come with looking at the podcast rather than just listening to it. Both are good ways of watching and listening. 10pointpodcast.com is our website. We've still got it for probably another year or so, so keep going to it and clicking on it. And you can.
And I will actually do something once I get some time.
Well, there we go. Andy's very busy. He's very busy. Andy's.
I've got time to wipe my arse properly these days.
Well, I didn't think that was something we were going to discuss on the podcast this week, but it has been mentioned. I think I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to know anymore. Before we get on to point number 1, what was our highlight of the week? Chris, you had a highlight. It's also one of mine, so why don't you start us off?
Yeah, I finally finished the Ahsoka series. I'm confused. There's a lot of questions coming from the end of this. I mean, I liked it. I liked the whole zombie spoiler stormtrooper thing. That's quite cool.
Oh, yeah, a bit different, yeah.
I'm confused about Thrawn, though, because try not to spoil too much of it, but he's not mentioned in any of the next, like the sequel 3. So I'm confused
exactly.
As to...
This is a big issue they've got.
It feels like it's what they've been tasked with, Filoni and Favreau, is, right, we like what you did with Mandalorian. Can you make something of the disaster we've done for ourselves with the sequel trilogy? Yep. And make things important and make things bring up certain subjects and put storylines that fill in the gaps, please, for us. And I think that's kind of what they're building.
Yeah, the current issues they got, the highlight reel is in Rise of Skywalker, which is the last one of the trilogy.
Last film, yeah.
That big epic battle where Palpatine's back, all the ships from all around the world come. Ahsoka's ship's in that.
It is.
So her ship is in that. But currently, that's in a completely different fucking galaxy, so that's got to come back. So you know they're coming back. But then, who's flying it? Because surely Ahsoka would have rocked up at some stage, going, "Actually, Luke was a bit of a bell end. I'm still around, or she died." Mando's ship never appeared, but Mando and Grogu could still be cruising the galaxy.
They could be doing anything they like.
So they could pretty much be in it. And then you've got the big gaping issue where they've probably got maybe a 10-year window where there has to be no mention of Thrawn and the First Order rise.
Yeah, he has to be significant, but he can't have any lasting impression on the galaxy. Like, they spend 3 films being like, oh, you remember what Darth Vader was like? Oh, you remember what Darth Vader was like?
Yeah.
But no mention of this Thrawn guy, so he's not going to be big bad. He's going to be like...
Basically, nobody gives a shit about him.
They're going to be like low-median bad rather than big bad. Like, it's sort of in the middle, but at the bottom end, where no one really remembers them. They were never that significant.
Then you've got to kill off Ezra as well. So you've got to kill off Ezra, Ahsoka, Sabine. They've all got to die. He seems
like a real big deal, but I've never heard of him until...
He's Rebels.
This feels like, I don't know how many seasons there are of Rebels, but this feels like season 3 of Rebels. And it still happens to
there's 5 seasons of Rebels.
Right, so this feels like season 6 of Rebels. And just accidentally it's live action now. It's like, oops, oh sorry,
it's very much what's happened.
We actually filmed it.
Yeah, it's very much what happened. But it's probably what they've done, but there's a lot of questions.
You can follow it, but I feel like still 6 episodes, 8 episodes, was it 6? How many was it?
8.
Of this 8 episodes, I still really don't know who anybody is. Like, there's no backstory. It's like, we need to go find this Ezra. Oh, here he is. He doesn't look like what I thought he was going to look like. And then, oh well, he's a bit of a Jedi. And then we've just kind of lost him again. And that's all we've had of this Ezra guy. And then the other ones, the whole arc of she hates, what's her name, Sabine.
Yeah.
She kind of doesn't really like the Jedi. oh, she should be trained as a Jedi. I don't really want to be trained as a Jedi. Okay, I will be trained as a Jedi. And then by the end of it, oh yeah, I can use the Force now. Brilliant, fantastic. That was a strange arc. But because there's been 5 seasons of a cartoon I've not watched,
Yep.
well, maybe it's more significant than that. I don't know.
It very much is. Yeah, it's pretty bagging if you watch the whole thing. It's brilliant.
I've started watching the Clone Wars and building up to it, so
Yeah,
once who everybody is.
Once you get past like season 3, no, 1 and 2, 3 then starts getting good, I think it is.
Of the Clone Wars, yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree, because I've watched probably 3/4 of the Clone Wars and not quite got it finished ever.
Yeah.
So yeah,
first two are a struggle.
It starts because initially they made the Clone Wars with, we just want to be a kind of random hop in and hop out of Star Wars lore, so it could happen at any point.
Yeah.
They were never in order, and then they decided, actually, this show was quite good. Let's try and make things in a sort of storyline order here, and that's when it gets better. So yes, Ahsoka is fine, better than some of the stuff they've churned out recently.
Yep.
My
only takeaway is I want a Hayden Christian Vader series.
Right, we had that, didn't we? It was the Kenobi one.
Yeah,
I guess.
Just all him. I want to see a Vader in his wee castle.
For me, the most interesting characters in the whole of Ahsoka were the 2 that aren't Sith but also aren't Jedi.
Yep.
And then poor old Ray Stevenson's died since they filmed it, so they're going to
never going to get his arc. Yep.
Yeah, so they have to recast or just abandon it. But then it tied in his last moment where he's standing on that statue. Yep. That's very significant to an episode or 2 in the Clone Wars, Chris, that you'll get to. So that'll be important, I would imagine, for Ahsoka going forwards. Staying on Disney Plus, I think we all watched the Loki premiere this week.
Yes.
Did we?
Yes.
How did we find it?
Bit boring, isn't it?
It was all right.
I quite liked it. I quite liked it. I'm not going to go too heavy in.
I like Keely Hang, or what we call. He's brilliant. Keely
Kwan.
Yeah. As OB.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
Yeah.
But the rest of it was just like
that future past thing was quite funny.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that. That's what I always think about, and when it comes to time travel things, is like, does it happen? Like, can you tell somebody something in the past and then they can like remember it in the future? I've always thought about that, so I'm glad it's finally on screen. I'm not going to go too deep into theories because I basically just watched the guy on YouTube, Ryan Neri. What's his show called, Andy? You always talk about him as well. The guy looks like he's in a comic shop.
I can't remember.
He did a full breakdown of episode 1 and basically explained what the series is going to be like. And I'm like, oh, that sounds amazing. So I'm not going to go too deep into theory on it because I think that. But I'm intrigued. And it was a good half hour or whatever it was. But
it needed to be a bit longer. It was a bit of a random start.
I thought it was going to save the MCU, exactly.
Yeah, it's fucked.
So
we'll see. I don't care about Sylvie at all. I couldn't just do without her.
Yep. They're going to make her really important at some stage, whether it carries over into a film, I'm not sure. And they haven't abandoned Jonathan Majors yet. He is still in the show. So we'll see how that goes. Andy, have you remembered anything special for your highlight?
I've definitely watched the film, but I can't remember what it is. However, Wrexham got me emotional. Oh,
all right. I've not even started Wrexham.
I can't remember, episode 4 or 5 or something like that. Oh, watching Ryan Reynolds cry got me emotional. That FA Cup game, Jesus. A roller coaster.
I've managed to forget after you saying the whole season. It's like, I'm trying to avoid spoiler free. I pretty much know what happened all year and I've forgotten it all.
It's good, but what a game. It was like one of the episodes is literally just the FA Cup game, and it's just like, dramatized. That's how football should be. Just cutting to Ryan Reynolds and his emotion, and Rob McElhenney is just like,
If only we could post-produce with celebrities every football match, then you'd be a massive football fan. Andy,
I would be. I'd love it. But I definitely watched the film, but it's definitely not worth talking about because I can't remember what it was.
It might be one of the situations where Andy shouts out a random movie title at some point during the episode, and we'll talk about it. So we'll crack on. We'll crack on in case Andy does never ever remember what it was. So point number 1 on this week's podcast. What is the point? The point is the 2001 fantasy horror thriller THIR13EN Ghosts, if you want to say it.
This is a hard film to Google.
Yes, 13 Ghosts, the 2001 version. You can try and cram the number 13 in there, however you like. A remake of 1960s 13 Ghosts, spelt with the numbers normally, directed by William Castle, who's apparently a significant horror director from the 50s and 60s. Can't say I know of him too much.
I didn't need to dive into that. Is it similar?
No, actually, I did not go any further. I believe they go to a house that they've inherited and there's ghosts there. So it probably is to some extent similar, yes. Written by, the original story by Rob White. He wrote other famous horror films from the 50s and 60s called House on Haunted Hill, Homicidal, as well as 13 Ghosts, and a couple of them have been turned into 90s.
I need to interrupt you for a fun fact.
Remakes, yes.
So the original 13 Ghosts, the 1960 version, you had to wear special glasses to see the ghosts.
Oh,
as the
really?
viewer.
Okay.
So it was in 3D
Oh, as the
glasses.
viewer?
Yeah,
Ah.
as the viewer. You had to wear
Okay.
special 3D glasses.
Well, fantastic. There we are.
That's how film should be. That's a great thing.
That's innovative. If James Cameron had come out with that in the early 2000s, we'd all be doing that now, wouldn't we?
Oh yeah, it might not be. It's definitely
It's
a fact,
not.
but they then go on to say this is one
Definitely
of
a
the
fact.
few details they kept in the original. But I definitely didn't, unless it was a homage or homage to it.
Right,
They wore
okay. So
glasses.
either way, I want to copyright that, so no one steal that. That you have to wear certain kind of glasses
To
to
see
watch a film
ghosts.
to see some of the characters.
Yes.
But yes, Rob White was the writer of that film, and he's credited on the story for all the subsequent versions and all that. The writers of the screenplay for this version, 2001, Neil Marshall Stevens, famous for writing 4 episodes of something called Monsters in the 90s. He then he wrote dozens of 90s and 2000s B-movie horror films under the pseudonym Benjamin Carr, the most famous being Frankenstein Reborn, which I say most famous, I've never heard of it necessarily. He then wrote 13 Ghosts and then a film called Hybrid. So I think 13 Ghosts might be his biggest piece of kind of work he's ever done. And also written screenplay Richard Doviedo, famous for writing Exit Wounds, 13 Ghosts, The Call, Forger, and then 2 episodes of The Blacklist Redemption, apparently, are his big things that he's written. So hardly the cream of the crop of Hollywood's writing. 2 uncredited writers on the script, though. One, Todd Alcott, who wrote Ants, was uncredited as doing some work on the script. And James Gunn, apparently, did uncredited work on the script for this film. James
I've
Gunn,
got more breaking news on that false fact I told you.
False fact, okay.
It was right. It was a 3D movie, and you had to have 3D glasses to see the ghosts. And then they were planned to do this in the 3D thing, but it didn't work. So they scrapped the idea, but they put the glasses in the film of this to show a gimmick.
Ah, right, I follow.
So
okay, that's quite smart. Okay, that's
so yeah, they were going to do it, but then they decided, nope, we can't do that. There you go.
It's not
so
working. Right.
Genuinely, 1960s, you had the special glasses to see the ghosts in the film.
Fair enough. Maybe that's why they remade it, because
I can't be that fun fact, by the way, so skip me later on.
I don't have one either, so fair enough.
Nailed that one.
So there's one version where you can see the ghosts, directed by Steve Beck, famous for directing 13 Ghosts, and then a year later, Ghost Ship, and then nothing else. So not the best from Steve, who likes his ghosts.
Confused with. When you said 13 Ghosts, Ghost Ship's what popped into my head.
Ghost Ship's got one of the most phenomenal starts to a film ever.
Really?
Okay, yeah, I think it's up there. I think it's going to be a film that's going to be picked by somebody at some stage, because it's going to be a hard opener to beat.
No.
And
it's been incepted to me now, so it's going to be.
Yeah, Ghost Ship. If you want a banger of a start, it's up there with the Mortal Kombat theme tune start, like Ghost Ship.
Well, that's the benchmark. Like
that's the benchmark of an opening for a film.
See, if it's just a song, that's an absolute banger.
No, it's not. This is a big scene in Ghost Ship.
For me, that would be Wet Hot American Summer this season. That started with Jane, so I don't know. Stars, the film, 2001, 13 Ghosts. We keep veering away from the film we're talking about. As Arthur Kritikos, Tony Shalhoub. That's how you say his name. Famous for Barton Fink, the television show Wings, the Men in Black trilogy, Galaxy Quest, the Spy Kids trilogy, The Man Who Wasn't There, most famously Monk, where he is Monk himself
and
for all the seasons.
As I picked this film, they're making a Monk film this Christmas, his last ever case.
There we go.
Out of nowhere. He's never been in anything, and we do the podcast, and they apparently made a film this year.
To say we have our finger on the pulse is wrong. We have our finger ahead of the pulse of what Hollywood and what the people want. Tony Shalhoub, after Monk, or amongst Monk, the Cars trilogy. He loves these trilogies, does Tony. Pain and Gain, I slipped in there because I always think it's an unbelievably good movie. Not very good. It's like, I cannot believe it's as good as it is. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2014 version and his sequel. He plays Splinter. And the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel TV series, he is in that. That seems to be the most recentest famous thing that Tony Shalhoub is in. Co-starring second build on 13 Ghosts as Kalina Embeth Davids. Famous for Army of Darkness, Schindler's List, Matilda, that's quite a change in direction, Bicentennial Man, 10 episodes of Californication, 8 episodes of Mad Men, The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, because she plays Peter Parker's mother in those films, and then something called Europa Report. Yes, Amazing Spider-Man. She was, I can't remember if her name was Mrs. Parker. But yes, she had a random collection of films. I did not know she was in as many big things as she was. end.
There's always Miss Honey from Matilda.
Right, okay. I can't say, I will say I've never seen Matilda, but I think I have seen it probably. But yes, Matilda. Third, I've got 4 of our cast here. Third, because we didn't feature him during Scream, as Dennis Rafkin, Matthew Lillard. I think he's a Pointy Award winner. I'm not sure, definitely a nominee. I think he is.
I remember you really hated him in that film.
He annoyed me in Scream a lot, yes.
Lillard,
Lillard, famous for being in Hackers, Scream, SLC Punk, which I've never heard of. It was one of his most famous 4 roles. She's All That, Scooby-Doo 1, Scooby-Doo 2, and then basically Shaggy ever since. He seems to be Shaggy in about a million things. The Descendants, and then he was in the most recent revival of Twin Peaks for 4 episodes, and he's in the Good Girls television show, Matthew Lillard. But literally, since the year 2000, half of his discography, or you want to call it filmography, is Shaggy in things. Even
That's
things like Mortal Kombat,
Yeah.
he plays Shaggy. Yeah, you find that character that you connect with.
Yeah.
One of his first ever parts he ever did was play Man in an episode of Scooby-Doo, so I think he must just be a gigantic Scooby-Doo fan since birth. And our 4th star, as Kathy, Shannon Elizabeth, famous for the American Pie series of films. She's not in all of them, but she's in a few of them.
Famous
Scary
for
movie.
One scene and one scene only.
Oh, fair enough, if you want to put it like that. Scary Movie, Love Actually, and then her other film franchise she's most famous for is the Jane Silent Bob movies.
Yeah, boy.
Strike Back and Reboot are 2 of her most famous roles, according to the internet. So
That is correct.
But yeah, American Pie, if Chris wants to say one scene, fair enough. And then Scary Movie, basically, is the only other thing I really know her from, is being a Scary Movie. They are our 4 main stars in the film. The film was made on a budget of $42 million. Its opening weekend in the United States was $15 million. Its final US gross was exactly $42 million. It made its money back. In America, worldwide, $68.5 million for the film. So a wee bit of profit. If you add in advertising, probably lost money.
Yeah, but they got a fucking banging house out of it.
They did, yes. Released 26th of October 2001 in America. Nice sort of Halloween-y release date. It's probably not going to be too far off when this podcast comes out in terms of anniversaries. Made it to the UK 15th of March 2002. Not so Halloween-y around then. That meant 2002 awards season for 13 Ghosts. No Oscar nominations and no Razzie nominations. No MTV Movie Award nominations either. I thought this film...
That's ludicrous, because this seems like it's made for MTV.
Yep.
It screams MTV Movie Awards, yes, but it did not. 2002 Saturn Awards, however, they got 1 nomination at the Saturn Awards for Best Horror Film of 2002. It lost to The Others, the Nicole Kidman starring horror film. Other awards, the film got 2 nominations at the Fangoria Awards, which seems to be a big horror movie award ceremony because they show up every time we do a horror movie when I'm looking through the awards and all that. 2 nominations. Best Makeup/Creature Effects. It was the winner. It won for that one. And it was also nominated for Worst Film, which it did not win. I have now forgotten what film was Worst Film, but I'd never heard of it before, so it's not that significant. Synopsis of 13 Ghosts by Amit for this week. I have copy and pasted and not read what Amit has said. Arthur and his 2 children, Kathy and Bobby, inherit his Uncle Cyrus's estate, a glass house that serves as a prison to 12 ghosts. When the family, accompanied by Bobby's nanny and an attorney, enter the house, they find themselves trapped inside an evil machine, quote, designed by the devil and powered by the dead, to open the Eye of Hell. Aided by Dennis, a ghost hunter, and his rival Kalina, a ghost rights activist out to set the ghosts free, the group must do what they can to get out of the house alive. Points lost for not saying 13 ghosts in there. Who picked? It was Andy. Andy, why have you picked 13 Ghosts?
Because there's like probably 4 or 5 people that's never done in this podcast, never featured in this podcast, probably never will feature on the podcast ever again. One of them being Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub. Yes, I feel like he will never come up, like in terms of a starring role. Men in Black might get done at some point, but
it was a moving target. Like this season, whatever you guys pick, is just I've got backups of backups.
Yeah,
but this one had Matthew Lillard in it, but I was like, he's way down the cast list and Scream as well. But because I feel like he's going to heavily feature than anybody else in this, I would imagine.
Quite possibly. You're quite right. I had never seen it before. Chris, how about you?
No, never.
Oh, and also it's Halloween as well, so that's why another reason.
Of course, yeah. I think everyone knows it's spooky season.
Spooky season. We don't have the banging music, so people don't know. Like a couple of seasons ago when I used to do the spooky intros.
Point, yeah. And I'm assuming you've seen it before, once, twice, 100 times.
I've
once
seen
or
this quite a
twice.
lot. It seems to be a random and guilty pleasure for me.
Oh, fair enough. Which channel would you normally watch it on then, Andy?
This has got Channel 4 written all over it.
I feel like that should be one of our I wish I thought I'd repeat like a button. That's got Channel 4 written all over it. There only is one version, so we all watched the same version. There was one DVD extra.
I thought there'd be more titties shots or something like
that. More? Right, okay. Point 2 on the podcast is the high points, what we all thought the best bits and things and people and places were in the film. Andy picks, Andy starts. High points.
Right. I've seen this film like a lot of times. And I completely forgot about the start, like as in the junkyard.
The junkyard, yeah.
I genuinely, like I said to Chantal, I was like, I think I've got like watching the wrong version. This is not a version I've seen. And she's like, why? I was like, I'm sure this bit's in the middle of the film because, spoiler alert, we all know what Stu does. We call him Stu, by the way.
Matthew Lillard.
Like we all know, like I thought, like genuinely, 110%. I thought that comes up like later down the line because I thought they rock up to the house. You don't know who he is, but we all know who he is. But I completely forgot this entire scene happened. I was like, eh. But apparently it's always been like that.
Fair
and
enough. Yeah,
so, but it was a banging
versions.
start. It's like you think it's a film about scary ghosts and that, and it's just like, I don't know, carnage in a junkyard.
It's very Ghostbusters.
I like the violence.
Yeah,
like this nice little taster. Like that guy gets snapped in half. Was pretty cool.
Yeah. There was a lot of
that was
worse.
the best bit.
I was like, that's best death, and it's like, oh no, that's like, it keeps snowballing. Like I'm sure we'll get to it finally. But
he was definitely a nominee for best death for me at one stage. Yes,
going through a car cock first.
Let's go. Let's do Ghostbusters, but for like the year 2000 is what it feels like at the beginning. It's like, how can we go about it? It's all we get a massive, big, fancy trap, and some guy's got ESP and he can sense where they are and all that.
Well,
and then, it gets violent.
I also get a vibe of Jurassic Park. You know, when they're trying to get the raptors in. Like
you're right.
It's very Jurassic Park to me. I was just like, that's. I don't know why. Like the start makes no sense. Like when you're watching, it's like I'm watching a ghost film. Like what's going on? But I genuinely thought this was further down the line. This part, but so it was a nice little treat to be confused again.
Yeah, right. It is structured like Jurassic Park. That's a good call, Andy.
Yeah.
Right. My next high point is that I liked what they did with the opening credits. Now we usually talk about credits.
History of Gene thing.
Yeah, basically, like this is his life, this is what has happened, and then the whole time the room is kind of turning around, and it's like you can see the room changing, and you can hear why, and you get all the names of and all that sort of stuff. But I quite enjoyed that, and in the fact it's not the same room either; it turns into like a crapper and crapper house as it's going round, and and the backstory of what's happening, which turns out to be more significant than I thought when the film goes on. I thought it was going to be like, here's a little sob story of why he's so sad and all that, but it develops into something bigger. But yeah, I thought the opening credits was well done. Yeah,
I was not expecting him to be so chipper when he came out of the room, though. Like, he's sitting there all depressed, just kind of playing in the window. And he walks out, he's really happy, he's having laughs and jokes with his kids.
It's not a high point. Sorry, carry on.
I was going to say, until he trips over that scooter, then he just fucking flipped.
It goes mad at that point. On the opening, before the opening credits start, really, there's one bit, I won't put it in low points because it's so insignificant, but they're looking out at the two kids playing in the garden. Also, they never explain why the kids look about 20 years apart in age, but anyway. And then he does a Tommy Wiseau laugh, like he's straight out the room. He just goes, ha ha! And then just carries on doing what he's doing. It was literally like Tommy in the room. And I thought, I
haven't low pointed it, but the little cheesy, perfect family, I'm so happy music really annoys me.
I don't think you've got kids, Chris. Do any of them just hold hands and spin around in the garden and laugh? Is that sort of thing that happens? No, I don't think. It only happens on TV.
Seconds, and then they start pushing each other.
Yeah, someone's in the dirt.
Go away. So, especially when they're like you said, 20 years and
different. It looks so different. I thought they were going to explain that, like she's not actually from this marriage, or she's like an aunt, or it's a sister. They did not look like they were relatives in it. It's like almost.
I was
like
wondering about the maths on when she died, because he's like, she died 10 years ago, but he's 9. I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense or whatever.
Yeah, it does feel like at the last minute they go, we've got a chance to get Shannon Elizabeth, from American Pie and from Scary Movie. We can get her. She could be the daughter. She could be the daughter. But the daughter's meant to be like 15. That's fine. We'll make her 21 or whatever it is she's meant to be.
There's one reason she's in this film, and it's coming up later on.
Fair enough. Next high points from everybody. I'm in the house as my next high point.
Mine's is the house. Like just coming up to the house, you think it's a bit weird, and it's like, and they got that epic door. And then you got the scene that I like with Matthew Lillard, because I was just like, I was confused watching it this time around going, well, I know it's him. Like,
Yeah.
because this is where I thought it's like, no, you don't know it's him, which would have been a better like twist, but maybe I just blanked out in my head. But the house in general, just all the weird writing when they're all touring the house. Now it's gonna be a low point with stupid kids, but and people not listening to rules. But what a house! Like that's a set. That is a proper set right there.
I'm not a massive fan of the
question.
house. I'm not gonna
No.
go. I'm not gonna die on this hill. To be honest, sometimes I want to die on hills, but I'm not a massive fan of the house. Chris, carry on.
I liked it. I thought the house was quite cool, but quick
It's not
question.
practical.
No,
No,
did the lawyer and Matthew Lillard know each other?
Well, I
they
think
must
by
not have
name.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, he must have. Well, my assistant Dennis, and was like,
Aye,
oh,
and
I
he's
have a
basically said
lawyer.
fuck off.
maybe.
Yeah, he's
Right.
been bugging them or something like that.
Yeah,
That's
but then he's like,
because
carry on.
no, I was gonna say just because like that lawyer had the weird look at me, upon his face, like, oh, I know
That's
you.
just J.R. Barnes' look.
Right.
Stargate. Someone shouted and pointed at my
Stargate, yeah.
television that Stargate
Yeah.
when he was on screen. Then she ran away, so she didn't get scared by what was
Yeah.
happening. I'm like,
No.
again, I'm not. It's not scary, but
But
Stargate
he's
guy.
really good. He played what he did really well. Like just
Yeah,
like,
actually, good
I
point.
don't trust him straight away. I say I don't trust you, but then you don't trust Matthew Lillard, and it's just like you get this whole who the fuck do you trust in this film? It's like everybody seems
then-
like they're out to get each other.
You don't trust F. Murray Abraham either because he's always
Yeah.
some sort of smarmy baddie and everything as well.
Yep.
So it's yeah.
Yeah.
Who do we trust? And even then, Monk seems like a bit of a belly.
Yeah, he seems like it's like what's he up to? It's like the only people he can trust is the actual kids. They
and
seem
he's an
alright, and the
annoying
nanny.
as kid
Yeah.
as well. Yes, the nanny. Yes, she's
The
the
nanny's
she's
the star. Yeah.
She's the audience avatar in the film is the nanny. You mentioned the lawyer. So I need to get to. I've got some physical evidence for this one. My next high point. So if anything in the house happens before anything significant happens to the lawyer, go ahead. But
No,
my next
not
high
really.
point is what happens to the lawyer. When
Yep,
we get one of
there
my
we go.
favorites, somebody getting cut in half the long way, but
Yep. He'll
the unconventional long way that you don't often see getting cut.
Mhm.
Top of it, well, actually it's sideways, isn't it? This
Yep.
sliding door
I mean,
killing machine.
it's going to be the best death. I don't think there's going to be a beating that one.
Hands
It's going to
down,
be
yep.
tough for the pointies, isn't it? That getting
That is-
cut in half sideways the long way, and even the way it's executed, because you're like, has that cut him in half? Is he actually gone? And then the front of his body just starts sliding.
It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Sensational. Because it says just as he turns as well, because like you say, he's been smarmy, he's been smart. He's like, what is he really up to, and all that. And then he's like, because he's a lawyer. Oh yeah, actually, I am evil, and all I care about is money. But then he knew that, so he's booby trapped this thing with the bag of money, which I don't know about you, Andy. It reminded me of a film I've seen recently, when they blotted up the bag and the switch went, and yes, and then it's like all of a sudden, oh yeah, he's actually him walking down, basically insulting all the ghosts.
Oh yeah, that was brilliant.
That's my next high point is the ghosts. I just walk past, can I get a glimpse of a few of the ghosts?
Like, because up until this point, it's not scary, and then suddenly he's got his little glasses on, and it's just like it's still not scary, like as in jump, but the sound jump scares, like it's just like Wah! It's like not like in your face jump scares, it's just like random sounds.
Yeah,
It's like there's ghosts down there, but it's like then it's just like, and then you get the one with Matthew Lillard later on, where he's like, I fucking hate it when they do that. It's like the wait,
yeah,
yeah.
But
I had to wait for you to be right there. And then they go right.
But yeah, no, just like him walking down, you get to see all the ghosts and all that. It's like, all right, yeah, there is some ghosts. They're all creepy as fuck. They're like, there's not like a bad looking ghost, maybe.
And they're
with an
all
arrow through his head.
They're all set up like a spoiler for the stats. I was like, I'm going to count ghosts. Are there 13 ghosts? Let's find out 13 ghosts. So I'm going through it, and because they all, by the end of the film, you know who they are because it's the point. But at the beginning, I was like, oh right, so there's that little kid one. Oh, there's the two of them. And then there's the one with the thing on their head. Like they all look different. They're all unique ghosts.
Yeah.
That I could be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like count them all up. So yeah, and immediately you're like, it's that one. It's the one with the nails and the big hammer. Like they just by looking at them, they're all designed so well. You know which one it is in every scene they start showing
I
up.
don't think you get to see enough of some of them though.
No,
Like,
definitely not.
There's
at
some
one
you
point I
see
forgot there was like
a lot of.
hard
Yeah.
behind me.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
right.
you
The
see any of
bound
her.
woman, the bound
Yeah.
one, I think she was called. Yeah, she's barely in the film. And then there's the mother and son ones. They get like 2 shots of them.
They deserve to
never
be
do.
in it because they were creepy as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then there's the one with the one called the jackal with the box on their head.
Yeah.
They're in it a lot. And it's like they only really plan to use 2 or 3 of them. So, damn, we need to get 13 of them. Right, create another couple of them. We'll fit them in. High points. Carry on, Chris. Have you got another one?
Not really. I'll say Matthew Lillard's death. I
what
have-
was his
I-
Oh,
I
yes.
kind of forgot to take notes halfway through this because I got sick of watching it.
Amazing.
So I'm
You
just
got
trying to
so
remember
into
it. But yeah, Matthew Lillard, like when they go down to look for the kids that they've lost again, and he becomes a hero, and the juggernaut of all the ghosts actually kind of freaked me out a bit for some reason. I don't know why. He's just quite plain and creepy looking, but he seemed like an absolute bellend.
Is it the one that's called the Hammer? The one with the nails in the head?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what they were
Yes.
called. The Hammer.
Yeah,
He
he's
was the one
that.
that freaked me out because you get a shot of his
Yeah,
like
they look proper
nail-filled
good, aye.
skull quite a lot. He's kind of freaky.
No, I do like Matthew Lillard's story arc in this. Like he starts off like he's a bell end, then he's like he's in it for the money, but then he's like, actually, no, I need to be good now. Like some redemption. And then you think he's the bad guy, and it's right about now where the random woman turns up to try and save them all.
Oh, no, I forgot about that. The big twist.
And the big twist.
Well, that's what I got to say. So, on the things that we covered so far, Matthew Lillard,
Yep.
I slated him in Scream. I hated
Yep.
him in Scream. I didn't hate him in Scream. He annoyed the hell out of me in Scream. He was the most enjoyable person in this film.
Yep.
And I quite enjoyed the fact that basically every scene he was like, how much can I drool and spit in this scene? And how much can I drool in this? And how much... It's always something coming out of his mouth. But I thought he was good. I never thought him to be the baddie. I always thought, okay, you're the guy who knows what's going on here. Which is then why I was suspicious when What's Her Nuts showed up. And she's like, well, I'm the one that actually knows everything. And I'm going to explain how it all goes. But we'll get into that in low points. But
Well,
I'll tell you a high point.
Blew my mind.
All right, but I'll tell you another low point we got to miss is the scene behind Bruce. That was creepy as fuck.
oh, yes, that's one of my high points. I thought it was a great scene.
Absolutely terrifying. That was like, it's not scary, but it's terrifying. It's just like, what the fuck? Like, no. It's just like the water is like, oh no. Is when
This is
when
the
we're gonna
bathroom
get the
scene.
Ra?
The bathroom scene where the camera, I'm really like, she's the daughter is taking forever to do nothing. Like she was just like putting her hands next to her head for just age. Like your hair's tied back. What are you even doing? And then the camera pans through a set of these glasses to see the ghosts.
That was
and then
cool.
we, the audience, can see everything. And that's amazing. You can see it. And then, oh no, there's a ghost behind her. It's like, but the ghost isn't doing anything. The ghost fascinated by her, or they must see something in each other. They can see how they're quite similar and all that. And then she goes into the bath, and we're like, oh, what's going on? Is this her death? And then again, it's like two scenes happening at once. It's like she's running the bath, washing her face. For some reason, there's a sink you could have washed your face in. Anyway, she was being weird, but the creepiness happening around about it was amazing. And then all of a sudden, like someone comes in, it's like the whole thing's interrupted.
Yeah.
But you think it's going to be a jump scare, but it's not. It's an old interruption coming in. But yeah, the bathroom scene was really good. And spoiler alert, that was the last thing I wrote down in high points was the bathroom scene. So anything else off the top of my head, I'm kind of like Chris. I don't have anything written down.
Yeah. Well, what I was going for is at no point did I expect Kalina. I genuinely thought she was a good person throughout the entire film until the old twist of Rooney came in.
I did as well because of the way that junkyard scene plays out. That it looks like Matthew Lillard's a bell and he's in it for the money, and she looks like she's trying to stop it. It's very clever how they do it.
Even when she comes into this, she's like, I'm saving him. I'm getting rid of the ghosts. I'm setting the ghosts free. I've got this book. And explanation of the book sounds pretty flawless. Like, the love is the greatest thing, and you'll save your kids with that. No, she's trying to kill the fucker.
But a great ploy. What a great way to get somebody to do something you need them to do, though.
And then when the other twist of what's it called? Cyrus. That's his name. Yeah. When he walked in, I was like, I fucking knew you were alive. I knew it. And then she's. I feel like they kind of put a heel on it just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Like a twist.
I'm going to leave my Kalina comments to low points. But you've had your say, Chris, and it is valid. Okay.
My only other high point is the glasses now, especially knowing, because I started off with that, they're a bit shit. But I actually like the idea of the glasses even more so, knowing that that's how they did it originally as an homage. But they do the glass thing well. It's like you can't see them, and you put them on. It's like, fuck, they're there, and then it's like, but they're still hurting people, and it's like when he's trying to like duck left, he's like that.
I had that written down in my notes. Was like, why is it only people wearing glasses that actually get attacked by the ghosts? And then about a scene or two later, they were like, duck now, and I thought, oh, thank God, I can delete that out. I don't have to argue about that anymore. Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, the nanny doing that bad, just brilliant. Just like duck, no, left, right, and then it's just
That kind of leads on to
even the poor kid wearing them. Fucking that kid just seeing all that carnage downstairs. Like terrified for that little bastard.
Yeah, I bet.
Like that whole thing leads into my low points of the ghosts just wander about and don't do anything until you put the glasses on, then they attack you.
Yeah.
And it really annoyed me. Like, her behind you, you were just talking about that scene, how it was really good of she's washing her face and stuff like that, and the ghost just kind of sitting there watching her. And then, right at the last second, goes to attack her. She could just be like that, blat, to the face
exactly,
right away. That'd be it.
But
But
ghosts
anyway,
tend to have to build up power. So it's not always as instantaneous as you think.
The closer they get, the more powerful they are. And that's always the
Yeah.
ghosts. The ghost's main aim is to get closer. Before we move on to low point, I do want to mention Ra Digga. I believe she is a musical artist who played the babysitter nanny, whatever you call her.
You can
Quite
tell that
enjoyed
by the
her
last
throughout.
song.
Yes, exactly. I quite enjoyed her throughout. I thought she was okay.
Yeah.
Like, for being third or fourth main character on the good guy side, I thought, you weren't too annoying. You did your part well, and everybody else kind of fits, but you're the kind of extra one. But I thought you were all right. And she did do one very smart thing.
It moves faithfully on to low point, so get the low points going.
Let's go. Point 3, low points. Andy, crack on. You seem to be ready to go.
That last song in the whole film didn't make any fucking sense. Like, she was great. She was great, and it's like as soon as it kicked in, it's like, she must be some kind of musician. And I was like, she is, because that last song does not fit this film one bit.
So sticking in with the nanny, not the performance, but the character.
No, just yeah.
No, but for me,
all right,
the character. The first 20 minutes, 25 minutes of the film was spoiled for me because I'm just thinking, this guy is penniless. This guy, all we've been told, this guy has no money. How does he have a live-in nanny to look after his not that young child? And I kept thinking, so what's the con here? What's the scam? And it's like, I know he doesn't. Maybe he's just inherited a lot of money. Like, why is the nanny going along with it? Or because he can now afford a nanny, but you could afford a nanny beforehand. The whole time I was like, this guy has like the guy's character, his life has fallen apart. He has nothing, but he can still pay this woman to live in the house with him and be the nanny. That annoyed me. That made no sense character-wise.
Yeah, it's like people on the dole though. When they say they can't afford it, they still buy a big flat screen telly though, don't they?
Like,
it's probably the American equivalent.
Yeah, that must be how you still got a nanny. You can't be that bad. Scrounger. Low points. I've got a few sitting waiting to go here. So anyway, else want to fire off with theirs, and I'll try.
One. It annoys me, like when they keep flashing away from ghosts. I want to see the ghost. Like at the start with I'm going to call him the Juggernaut. I can't remember his name. Is it Breaker or something like that?
He's the
Juggernaut. The Juggernaut is the name of the one at the junkyard.
Yeah.
The Juggernaut.
Like 1 second he's there and then he's gone, and you just see the car crashing down. It's like, I want to see the ghost do that.
Yeah, but it's because the ghost's building up power. You can't always see him.
Well, no, but
they're between realms, Chris.
I just see like as we're walking down in the thingy downstairs, they keep just disappearing and flashing away, and I was like,
you see 2 seconds of each one.
Yeah, I want to see them.
You brushed up against one of my major low points of the film is the direction and editing made my brain hurt, and I don't mean in a I can't understand, just in a every scene is like turned into it's like every single scene is a reveal in a Saw movie where it's like cut this, flash of a ghost, the ghost coming, glasses off, slow motion, somebody else. Half the film is just cut like that, and it's like, oh my god, I don't know what's happening, and it's not helped by the fact that every scene looks the same. Yeah. The bathroom scene is good because it's in a bathroom. Every other scene is, if you're watching the video version, Andy, that's the setting behind Andy for every other scene in the film, is in a corridor with glass writing on one side, less glass writing on the other, glass with writing on the other side, a door at some point, a locked door at another point, and every single scene happens in a corridor, and it's always a maximum of 3, minimum of 1 character and a ghost in every single scene in the film. And also, Chris almost mentioned earlier, there's writing all over the walls and floors in this entire house to stop the ghosts escaping. But the ghosts just wander around all over the place in every single corridor. There seem to be no rules. And I never had an idea of where we were going in the house.
Nobody apart from her goes upstairs.
Exactly, yeah.
They all just can wander down the halls downstairs, yet nobody decides to go, I'll follow where the people are going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The ghosts were useless.
They were useless, and there were strange rules they invented in the film that didn't even seem to follow up on it. It was very strange. Any other low points? I've still got a few.
Mine's that kid.
The kid, okay. Let's go on the kid, because he disappeared, and I was like, okay, I'm happy enough. But yes, that first half of the film, Andy, go ahead.
Oh, just like straight away, it's like, right, don't move, and instantly they all fucking move. Which okay, that's what everybody was going to do. We knew that. But then that kid particularly decided to like even run away from the nanny and somehow gets lost in a glass fucking house. That's impressive.
That was cool.
That is an impressive feat that kid managed to do, just being a bell end.
I can imagine Chris can relate to just
Very
repeated. Yes, exactly. That was, there's something wrong with him. He's not growing up like very, I don't know, normally, I don't think, especially not after this experience. But yeah, leaving him having left that scooter repeatedly in the floor, like no wonder the dad got so angry with him.
I thought that was going to be played in the film. I thought he was going to leave it somewhere and the dad's going to trip over and it was going to save his life or something from a ghost.
Because he did drop it in the glass house at one point, and I thought, here we go. A ghost's going to fall over it or something. I wasn't sure. Right, low point for me. How on earth, like this is, I write down my thoughts as I go through. How on earth did Kalina get into the house? Like, she just shows up. I'm like, who's this? Oh, it's her from the beginning. They're locked in. How the hell did she get in the house?
Oh, Avon's open back door.
And then she starts explaining, and I'm like, oh, that's very convenient. You slipped in just as the door was closing. I don't believe you one little bit. Where the hell have you been during all of this? And then at the end, I've just got brackets. Yes, I nailed it. So you could be, oh my God, what a twist and all that. But the minute she arrived, I was like, there's absolutely no way you're here to help. I was completely suspicious of her from the beginning. There's no way you're just hiding in this guy's house like the whole time and all of the first 40 minutes or whatever is happening. So I saw the twist coming the whole time that she was never to be trusted.
I knew Cyrus wasn't dead.
I didn't.
I mean, was he actually not dead, or was he just faking it? They just like to draw a little.
So I very angrily in my notes, is Cyrus dead or not? I can't work out. Then I've just got, oh, I see. Right, he's pretending to be dead because like I'd counted him as a death and counted him as a ghost at this point. And then I'm like, the film is trying to tell me that he's a ghost, but it's like, but he doesn't look like the ghost. Like he literally, all the other ghosts look the same as each other in some fashion, like kind of grayed out, kind of colored. He looks different.
Do that thing where they're walking in a corridor and he's there, and then he flashes away again.
Yes, exactly. It was when the kid was getting captured.
Yeah. Again, he just like flashes there and there.
He's presented as being a ghost for a good chunk of the film, and it's like, oh yeah, I was just pretending. That's why I've got whatever it is on my neck. Is it still a fresh wound because he's still bleeding everywhere, or is it a fake scar? Like I don't understand the timeline. So why, like, was it just to try and convince him to throw himself? It's like you couldn't have. Would it killed you to put some grey makeup on to make it look more like a ghost? Maybe some chains or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, it annoyed me. My absolute most highest annoying low point of the whole film. I know Andy's going to say, but so the glasses just work. There's no explanation. The glasses. Oh yeah, these glasses are for seeing ghosts. All right, brilliant. Yeah. Not at any point does everyone be like, can you tell me the science behind this? Or who invented these? Or how long have you had these? It's just like, oh yeah, we've got these glasses. These are what you see ghosts with. I'm the only person in the world that knows about them.
Electromagnetic fields. People talk about ghosts. They make machines. It's an ecological step, isn't it? Glasses, I can see ghosts.
Nah, I'm not having it. Annoyed me. Just, oh yeah, here's the ghost seeing glasses. Oh, brilliant. There's a pair in every house, every room in the house for us all to wear.
That didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like leaving them darted around. It's like, all right, they're all down in the basement. We'll leave set there. You're going to go see the ghosts.
I've only got one more low point, which is kind of a high point, but
like we talked about this during Scream. Matthew Lillard's overacting.
Nah,
it was insane in this film.
He was good in this.
I thought he was fine, to be honest.
His gobbing absolutely everywhere and having these weird orgasm seizures were just unbelievable.
But brilliant. Like, I believe that man was a nutter and could see people's, like, by touching them.
He's that's the thing, yeah.
He did that really well. Like, don't touch me. He's like, him and Kalina have his little argument. I'm a freak.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody touches me, I'm going to little seizures. But he was unbelievable in this film. It's just Stu dialed up to 11.
Well, so that's the thing. I thought he was more. He may have been more dialed up, but in relation to everything else, it fit better than whatever he was turned up to in Scream. Like he was acting way ahead of everybody else, or way above everybody else in Scream. The one final low point I've got for me is, thank God, 5 minutes before the end of this film, someone's actually tried switching off the machine. Not at any point did anybody ever think, oh, we're now fully informed this whole thing is a machine. Let's go turn it off. And literally 5 minutes
She's
from the
there
end, the nanny, I'm going to go. And then she breaks it, and it works. Like, breaking it successfully turned it off. But yet nobody else was like, oh, it's all a machine. Let's try and switch it off. Let's just keep running away and hiding. And, oh my God, they're captured. And, oh, you need to kill yourself. Oh, I'm so torn. I might need to kill myself. But, I was so happy someone finally actually tried to turn it off by the end. Any others?
Am I the only one that's concerned about the case full of money just lying there?
You're gonna
Like,
go back
nobody
for it.
else. I thought that was going to be the end, and they see him. Oh, I'll just take that, and that's it. We're happy family again. We've got money.
Oh, so it just abandoned it. Yeah, fair point. I think the money was purely just there for the lawyer to get got. I think that was a trap for him.
Because he died next to the room where that machine is when she's fixing it. I thought she was going to walk out and be like,
maybe she did.
Let's take that.
Smuggled her. That's why she's singing a rap song at the end. She got a record deal.
The sequel is her becoming a famous rapper. With
yeah.
Right, is that us? I
think we can move on.
Point 4, the statistics for 13 Ghosts. I counted 11 shits. The internet said 17. I counted 3 F-bombs, all by the nanny. And the internet says 5. I don't know who by. 23 explosions there were. They were all the house exploding at the end, but 23 of them at the end. Deaths, 11. Minions at the beginning, amounting to however many it was. Then Kalina's partner in crime, or whatever he was, at the junkyard. Arthur's wife died off screen, but during the film. The lawyer got chopped in half the long way. Dennis gets beaten up and broken in half. Kalina gets... Whatever happened to Kalina? What was her death?
She gets squished by the door.
She got squished by a room, didn't she? Yeah. And then Cyrus gets, I don't know, decapitated and dismembered and otherwise at the end. Quotas, no cows, no goats, no dead animals whatsoever. It was all human beings. No paedophiles, I am aware.
Some of them ghosts are.
Probably, yeah. Tom Cruise, Taco Bell trifecta. We only have running. Nobody gets the girl. I was sure Matthew Lillard was getting Shannon Elizabeth, and that was why the two of them were in the film. I thought that was going to be their arc.
I thought it was going to be Tony Shalhoub and Beth for a long Beth, but have Kalina for a while.
Right, yeah. I could see that. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Oh, you could replace my wife. Oh, yeah, I'm so happy I'll replace your wife. But yes, I have no motorcycles, so it's just the running. How many ghosts were there? There were 13. I couldn't believe it. I had counted, what's his face, Cyrus as a ghost, but he unghosted, and then Matthew Lillard appeared. Matthew Lillard was the 13th ghost in the end, for the record.
A quick question. All the ghosts, when they die, they come back and they're all like weird like that. So why isn't Matthew Lillard bent in half? Like backwards?
It's a fair point. And how did he get his glasses back? He lost them at the junkyard.
It's because they had not been tortured.
Right.
All them ghosts were like, they were tortured in hell, and like that's where they were tortured souls.
Okay, well, there you go. And they explained it. Did they say the thing? Did they say 13 ghosts?
Aye.
There was a lot of 13th ghost.
You're correct. There was 13 ghosts at an hour and 7 minutes. And they said 13th ghost 7 times in the film. So yes, almost there. Chris, any stats from you?
Yeah. Breaker's the only ghost that actually kills somebody. They all kind of kill Cyrus, but they throw him into machines so they don't actually kill him. But Breaker literally snaps Matthew Lillard and kills all the minions at the start. So kind of the hammer bashes him a little bit, but Breaker is the only ghost that actually kills somebody.
Well, there you go. Any others that you?
No, I don't know what else to count after that. Do
you have a fun fact? Because I don't, and Andy spent his.
No.
So.
Nah, he just looks happy.
No. Okay. Point 5 already is the 10-point podcast quiz. Andy, you are the quiz master. I think you might have some spare time to work with this week.
There's always time. Right. This one, 13 Ghosts. That's the name of the quiz.
There's going to be 13 questions again.
There's going to be 13 questions about ghosts.
Okay. I can't remember who goes first. Is it Chris or me this time?
It's always a fight.
First this time.
You want to go first, Chris? There's a theme. How old was Casper when he died?
Oh, right.
13.
It's not 13. Chris?
I'm assuming it's correct answer rather than closest, is it?
Correct answer only.
Right. 9.
He wasn't 9, he was 12.
Oh,
Bruce? Cole Shear and Malcolm Cowell, we'll go Cowell, are characters in which M. Night Shyamalan psychological thriller?
Can you try and give me the names again?
Cole
Please.
Shear and Malcolm Crowe with an E at the end.
I'm going to guess The Sixth Sense.
It is a Sixth Sense.
All right, okay.
Chris, the Grady twins appear in which horror film?
The Grady twins.
Yes.
The Shining.
Oh, just got before the timing ran out. Yes, it is The Shining.
I had to pretend I had no idea because I absolutely
Couldn't
I was
think
like,
of
oh my god, I
the
know.
twins.
Yeah.
Anything.
Oh, that was a pointless move.
Bruce, heads will roll was the tagline for which movie?
Damn it. I know the
Okay.
name. I know the film.
Gonna have to
I
hurry
know
you.
the tagline as well.
Oh god damn it! I know the film.
3, 2,
Oh,
1.
Pat.
Chris,
Oh, I know it.
I don't actually know.
3,
Nah, I can't.
2.
Nah.
If I said
That's
Johnny Depp,
annoying.
would that help anybody?
Oh, I know it. I know the film. I just don't know the name of it.
It's Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy
Oh,
Hollow.
well.
I was like Sweeney Todd. I was like, no, it's not Sweeney Todd. Oh, that would work, but it's not Sweeney Todd. Oh, damn it, Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy
God
Hollow.
damn it.
Chris, Eddie Murphy, Gemma Tilly, and Terence Stamp appear in which 2003 Disney feature film?
Haunted Mansion?
Is that your final answer? You're going to say it?
No,
Say
The
it.
Haunted House.
You're going for the Haunted House?
Yeah, I'll go for it. The Haunted House.
No, you're wrong. Bruce.
Fuck.
Chris was 99% of the way there in his first answer.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
99.
He was 99. And if for some reason completely changed it for his next answer.
So is it The Haunted Mansion?
It's The Haunted Mansion. Yes, it is.
Right, okay, yeah.
It wasn't Haunted Mansion. That's a different
It
film.
was right, okay, there you go.
I needed the.
I thought it was The Haunted, whichever one I was going to go for as well, besides speaking. So.
Bruce,
Mhm.
in which year did the original Poltergeist movie get released?
Oh, I feel like I kind of know that. 91?
Not 91, no.
86.
Not 86, it was 82.
Oh, miles away. Miles away.
Chris, which actor stars as Connor Mead in Ghosts of Girlfriends Past?
Ryan Reynolds, I don't know.
It's not Ryan Reynolds, Bruce.
I don't know why, but Luke Wilson came to my head. So Luke Wilson.
Not Luke Wilson, it was Matthew McConaughey.
Right, okay.
Bruce, Bill Murray stars as Frank Cross in which movie?
Ross. In which movie? Presumably he's a ghost in this film. And it's not Ghostbusters. It's not Garfield, because I think Garfield's a ghost. I do not know.
Chris?
Ghost.
Scrooge.
It's Scrooge.
Ah!
Chris, in which film does Michael J. Fox use his psychic abilities to speak and pretend to exorcise ghosts?
One of the films I
It's
think
Back
he's
to the
been in
Future
it
2,
is
isn't
Back to the Future.
It's not Back to the Future.
I don't-
Bruce?
The only other film I know would be then is Teen Wolf. I'm assuming it's not it either.
It's not Teen Wolf. It was The Frighteners.
I've never heard of that.
You've never heard of The Frighteners?
Never heard of it. Never mind
my
seen
God.
it, never heard of it.
Oh my God, you guys need to look at The Frighteners. That was going to be one of my picks.
Well, there you go. Next season or whatever.
Where are we going? Bruce.
Me.
Which actress stars as Rose the Hat?
Oh, damn it. My brain is not. I know exactly who it is.
What?
My brain is not here today. Rebecca. I've forgotten her surname.
Gonna have to throw over to Chris. He's
Rebecca
got half of the way
Wilson?
there.
Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah, Rebecca Ferguson.
Is it? That's Rebecca. You.
It was Rebecca Ferguson. Chris, Guillermo del Toro co-produced The Orphanage, also known as La Orphanage, but which language was it spoken in?
French.
It was not French.
Because it's him, I'm going to say Spanish.
It was Spanish. You are correct.
That was a trick question because
if I was coming first, I would have said French if I'd gone first. So.
Where we going? Bruce, yes. The Conjuring universe is a series of movies surrounding which real-life demonologists?
Well, I've seen 4 of the bastard films and I can't remember their name.
It seems like the most frustrating quiz for you.
Yes, I kind of know everything about all answers. It's not the Wilsons or something like that. It's not that.
It's not the Wilsons. Chris?
The Joneses? I don't know.
No, it was Ed and Lorraine Warren.
The Warrens, that's it. Yeah.
And what's the scores?
It's 3-3. Thanks.
Nice. Here we go. The 13th question. Right. Buzz in when you know.
As in shout the answer.
Aye, just shout the answer. Jeffrey Rush, Famke Janssen star in which 1990 horror film? 1999 horror film, sorry.
Ghost Ship.
It's not Ghost Ship. You can keep shouting until you get it right. I'm going to keep throwing more clues out.
Right, okay.
It's about a house.
A house, okay.
Haunted house.
It's definitely a haunted house.
Haunted mansion.
Haunted Hill. House on Haunted Hill.
House on the Haunted Hill. Bruce gets it.
Oh,
I haven't even got there yet.
Bastards.
See, I've literally just got Famke Janssen's IMDb page.
He's going to cheat. He was going to cheat.
I didn't even get to cheat. I think I mentioned it earlier. Did I, Andy? House on Haunted Hill. I think that was one of the ones the guy.
I think so. He did something.
Yeah, House on Haunted Hill. Yeah. Rob White wrote it. Yeah. Oh, thank God.
There we go. That was. I love these 13 ones. They come right into the last question.
Every time, it comes out to the tiebreaker. Oh, frustrating. I could have had about 7 points.
You could have dominated there if you just remembered stuff.
Oh, damn. Need to do some more IMDb revision, I think. Right, point 6. Movies within movies. See if Chris can remember anyone we've covered before for the 10-point podcast universe.
I'll butcher this name. Xantha Radley, who was the Pilgrimess, was in Slither as an uptight mum.
Yes, she was. I don't know which one the Pilgrimess was, but she's like kind of
that one. I think
that one, the one in the dress. Kind of, I think it was. Yeah.
F. Murray Abraham as Cyrus. He was in The Last Action Hero as John Practice.
Yeah.
Was he one of the main baddies? Like, I know he wasn't Charles Dance, or I don't know. I feel like he was high up the cast.
I think he was a cop. Like
maybe he was the chief. Maybe he was the angry
He's in it a
chief.
hell of a lot. I remember that.
He's been mentioned quite a lot. Matthew Lillard as Dennis. He was in Scream as Steve. And finally, M. Beth Davids as Kalina. She was in Fracture.
Second build in this film, by the way. She was. We covered her before. The actress who was second build star.
I never did I
think it happens every time. There's always someone high up that Andy has to argue with. Yeah, she was in Fracture. Anthony Hopkins' wife, we think.
Yeah.
Is that where she was?
I believe so, yeah. No one eligible for the Hall of Fame on 3-3-EN.
Lillard's no fan of it, yeah.
Yeah, Lillard's been discussed a lot. He might still get in, maybe because he's a controversial character. Have you recast the three of us into characters in the film, Chris?
I have. I think you're Dennis, Bruce. I can see you.
Okay, I'll take Dennis
like, was it ESPN-ish?
ESP, yeah. I can sense a ghost over there.
ESPN's a fucking football channel. Sports channel.
ESPN, yeah.
I'm definitely Arthur. You know, I'll be happy to. I'll be happy and ready for a great day until my kids just ruin it for me.
Okay.
And I would actually sacrifice myself for my kids. I'm not that much of a monster. Andy is Cyrus. Like, given a chance, I think you would definitely do like a wee House of Horrors and just trap people inside.
Oh, I definitely try to resurrect some demons. That's why I was trying to learn Nokia, just in case I did it by accident.
Chris, if we were ever invited you and me, Chris, to a video will reading of Andy, it's like, if you're seeing this video, then I have died. what I would like you to do is all go to this one building in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, no.
Here you'd be like, they're going to say no. I'll plan something else and capture them a different way.
I just recast this as ghosts. So I'm the Torn Prince, Andy's the Juggernaut, and Chris, you're the firstborn son. He was the one with the arrow through the head. I don't know why, but I struggled. I didn't want to put us as the main characters, but I think you've nailed it, Chris. Your reasoning was far better than mine. Could this film have come out in 1995? I think yes. I think there's nothing really stopping us being
Monk
1995.
was pretty popular. He could still be Monk.
Well,
Shannon Elizabeth would have been the right age.
He wasn't Monk yet in 1995, but
Was
yes. No, that was like 10 years later.
2000 thing, wasn't it?
Monk started just before this film came out, I think. Maybe just
Did
after.
it?
So,
I thought it was a 90s thing.
He wasn't Monk yet, I don't think. Does this film reference The Wizard of Oz? Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, is that the thing?
Since you've
There's no
brought this
place
up,
like
I have noticed it everywhere now.
Yeah. Yes, our main man, Matthew Lillard, says there's no place like home repeatedly over and over again at one point to try and, I don't know, get rid of the evil spirits. Dead Man Walking. Now, I thought the nanny babysitter was fodder for the ghosts, but I was wrong on that one. But the minute the lawyer insulted a ghost, I was like, you are done for. You were against the clock here. And he was gone about minutes later. So yeah, I eventually got there. Who is in the wrong movie? I think Shannon Elizabeth is in the wrong movie. She disappears. She's probably the most famous person in the film. Matthew Lillard probably maybe run her close, but culturally, I think American Pie and Shannon Elizabeth would be huge.
Yeah, like she's only in this film so our ghost could rip her clothes.
Yeah, basically.
Strategic points.
Yeah. And then she disappears, and she goes back at the end, and I'm like, you're too old for the role you're in. You don't really have an awful lot to do, and then you disappear. It's like, you really shouldn't be in this film. And which trope is in the film we'd like to see die? I have inherited a haunted house. There's a lot of films that happened. What about you, Andy?
Mine's is just like, if you get told to stay here, stay there. If they just stayed there, I think they would have been mostly all right.
Absolutely. And Chris, what's your trope?
Mine's is perfectly timed pre-recorded messages. Like they like so you go, oh, it's a key. Yes, it's a key to this door that you just opened.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, it's like John Hammond speaking to the other John Hammond in Jurassic Park. He's set that up. There's another one. There's no way to have set it up. Point 7. That one thing. What is the one thing that THIR13EN Ghosts of 2001 has that no other film has? Because mine is awkwardly fitting the number 13 into the word 13. And I still think it's wrong. I still think there's a better way to have done it. Like maybe replace the 2 E's with a 13 rather than the T and E, or replace the I and an E with a 1. And like it's done wrong. It's a horrible title, and it's the title that I will see and I'll be like, oh my God, yes, I remember that. Chris, what's your one thing?
I'm going to say the Glass House. I'm sure there's been in something else, but I'll remember this for a quick cold Glass House.
What about you, Andy?
13 Ghosts.
It's the one with 13 ghosts.
This is the one with 13 ghosts in it.
It's the Ron Seal quick drying paint of movies where this film says 13 ghosts. That's what you get. You get 13 ghosts. Point 8, just like 10-point podcast. We abide by our numbers. We used to have more than 10 points, really, when you think about it, but not anymore. Point 8, nominations for the 10-point podcast Pointy Awards. Chris, you always mention your nominees first, and we tell you where you're right and wrong.
Well, I put this as person's best supporting, but she's quite high up the list. I put Beth Davids as best supporting.
I had Lillard as best supporting.
Right.
Oh, 2-1. Biggest bell end is Cyrus for the exact same reason he is the best villain. He used his nephew's wife and family in a weird experiment thing.
Double cunt. That's what we're calling it there. Not bad enough that you just trapped his wife as a ghost, but you've then got him and his family into the house, which they're going to kill pretty much everybody there.
But it does make him the best villain, though.
It's definitely best villain, I cannot argue. But can I float the idea of the lawyer as biggest bell end?
He's just there doing his job, isn't he? Lawyers are bell ends anyway.
It's like, I'm finally, a ghost, ghost.
Why did he turn into a ghost? Everybody else turned into a ghost. I mean,
fair point. Yeah. You can have Cyrus for biggest bell end, because yes, he clearly is. So yes.
Best death as a lawyer's hands down.
Yep.
Definitely cut in half the long way, exclamation points.
Like I said, I want to give a shout out to the man that gets pulled cock first through in between the car.
That was my best one until that came out.
That was a spectacular start, but then that guy just,
Imagine having that happen to you, and you're not even the best death in that film. Like,
I just happen. I'm gonna be the best death, and then somebody
Yeah.
comes along and trips you. For me, best twist was Kalina. I did not see her working with Cyrus.
So
at
I've
all.
got worst twist. This random Kalina character is actually working with the bad guy for no reason.
Mine's
I've
a
got as
Cyrus.
the worst.
Mine's a Cyrus still alive is the best twist.
Yeah,
I think so because I wasn't sure. I was like, that was a better kind of like he showed
well,
up.
you say
and I'm
best
like, oh.
twist. I thought you said worst twist.
Best
Oh, no,
twist.
worst
I
twist is
saw him,
Kalina, I
Aye.
think. But best twist,
Yeah.
I'll go Cyrus, I think, yeah, for best
It's
twist.
like his plan now makes perfect sense. Like he wants to be powerful. Like why carry on that plan if he wasn't alive? It's pointless.
Well, the one question I would have is, why did he fake his death in the way that he faked his death?
I think it was
Couldn't he
pretty
just
overloaded,
have-
wasn't it?
Couldn't he just be like, oh yeah, sorry, your great uncle, whatever, Cyrus has just had a heart attack at his home, and you have inherited it. It could just be like, it seems to be so estranged from everybody else that it would be fine. You didn't have to have
It loves a
public beheading.
theatrical
And
death.
who set him up to not quite be beheaded? Like, did
I would imagine
Kalina,
her.
did she do that?
Yeah, I would imagine her.
At what point? Like, this was an army running around trying
Well, no,
to
because
fight
the
this
two
ghost.
of them seems like must have been setting up, and that other guy accidentally died. I think they must have both been on it.
Right, okay.
And Matthew Lillard was the one that we're just kind of like, yeah, we're going to get him out now. He's done what he's because he was done after that mission anyway, wasn't he?
Yeah, that was the 12th. Yeah, that was the
Aye.
12th ghost. So, but fair enough. Yeah, carry on, Chris.
Best special effects is the lawyer getting chopped in
Oh,
half.
I did wonder what to go for that, but yeah, I'd go for that.
Best set was the house.
Aye.
Michael
Don't know if
Pena
I have
award.
it. Hang on the house. Hang on the house. I've got worst inanimate object as the house. Worst inanimate object, and I had the house for something else. I now can't find it anymore.
Oh.
But I want to publicly be like, I don't think the house is that great, but you've outvoted.
You
me,
build
so.
a set like that, then that's pretty fucking good.
Well, I think the cube is better. I think other houses we've covered is better. It's not that great. It's unnecessarily kind of messy, and then also at the same time it's glass, and it's like, nah, I'm not a big fan of the house.
Best inanimate object was the glasses.
So I've got best inanimate object. I think the key to the house is actually
That was a
kinda cool.
banging
And-
key. That is a key.
Yeah, and then the way it goes into the lock is
Yeah.
cool as well.
Okay, I'll accept that. Where am I? Michael Pena award was Kalina explaining how the house works and all the different ghosts.
I suppose it probably is, yeah.
Best father figure is Tony Shalhoub. I forgot his Arthur. That's his name.
I've got worst father figure. As
yeah,
him,
he was
but-
pretty shit. And then,
He seemed like he was-
then he tried to do a redemption story. It's like,
Save his family at the end.
He did, but I feel like he was like, oh, I'm sick of these damn kids. This is the wife's kids. The wife's dead. I can't do. Oh, I'll hire this nanny. She can look after them, and I'll just get pissed off and go off to work in the morning. Was he a teacher? Is that what he said he was? He was a teacher.
Maths teacher.
Yeah, he seemed to hate his own kids for someone who was a teacher. Like, I think he was like them a bit better. Oh, and I tell a lie. I think Kathy was like the apple in his eye. Like, I think he loved her, and she was amazing. But that annoying little shit. Like, I don't think he was great.
I was saying now, he was the most annoying kid. He called her a slut.
He did.
I can't remember why. It was something stupid.
Yeah, for like nothing. Yeah.
Oh, you can't cook. You're a slut, or something
Yeah,
like that.
that's right, yeah.
My best costume or outfit was the hammer. I thought his one was quite cool.
He was the one who freaked me out. I quite like the Jackal's kind of box thing, if you want to go with that. But I did like the hammer as well.
In alternate universe, she was a victim of Saw, a jigsaw.
Yeah, definitely.
Most pornographic, it was the naked ghost because she just walked naked.
It's funny how she did get featured more than basically every other ghost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I wonder why. Lastly, my best product placement was Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
Okay.
Basically, because they mention it, and then he goes, "Oh, I love Dunkin' Donuts."
Yep.
Eye roll. Best character name: Cyrus Criticus is a good name, and also you have to be the villain when you're called Cyrus. Like throughout all of media, if you're Cyrus, you're the virus, your enemy.
Cyrus
Best
the
set-
virus.
Yes, exactly.
That's on my list.
Best set. That was the other one I was looking for. I've just got nope written it to it, but yeah, I'm outvoted. Best team: the Ghosts.
They did work together. They were a pretty good unit.
I only killed like one person.
How many you want them to kill?
I was expecting to slaughter the entire family.
They kind of won though, when you think about it. The Ghosts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They killed the person who imprisoned them, and they all got out.
True.
So I think Ghosts. I think they're a better team than the humans. I'll tell you that much.
True.
Best villain we've done. Biggest bellend. Most annoying kid. Most
Best
underused.
entrance-
Shannon
entrance
Elizabeth.
to the house.
Yeah, Sharon Elizabeth,
yeah,
definitely.
good. Sharon Elizabeth's underused. You're right as well, Chris. I'll take that. Is Bobby the stupidest character? Just running off all the time?
Yes. He's an idiot.
Done that. Worst plan. Now, I'm willing to be wrong. I'll fake my death and then I will lure in the rest of my family so that my nephew will kill himself and then unleash hell on Earth. Do we ever know why he wanted to unleash hell on Earth?
Because he could see the future and predict things. It wasn't like he was trying to harness it with the machine. He was getting the hell, but yeah, because of the void between heaven and hell or whatever, he could see the future and become the most powerful man in the world.
So is him faking his death and luring in his own family, is that a good plan or a bad plan?
It's a good plan. It worked. It got them all there.
Yeah,
but then they killed him.
Technically, didn't I was going to say Stu. Dennis kill himself and become a ghost, so he's the 13th ghost.
Dennis is the 13th ghost.
Yeah.
Well, his plan would have worked then, didn't it?
No, because the machine died.
He didn't do it. He didn't do it to like for the machine. Yeah, all the ghosts remember doing like ring a Rosie around about. They had to be there at that point, I think. And then worst villain, I've gone for Kalina as worst villain because she was like, what was her reason?
What was her plan with the dynamite?
Yeah, when she brought the dynamite, I thought I would just go blow up the corner of the house and get out there. And I was like, oh no, we didn't do that. Why would we do that? I'll go stick a dynamite in the machine. Nah, why would we do that? It's like, terrible. I think that's it. Any other nominees? Anything we've missed? Point 9, the moral of the story. What lesson are we supposed to learn from 13 Ghosts? Andy, what's your moral of the story?
Don't always trust your inheritance.
Fair enough. What about you, Chris?
Greatness requires sacrifice.
Oh,
very good. I've gone for always visit your potential new home in daylight.
Professors, yep.
Might have been a good idea. Point 10. It's a 10-point rating where we rate this film out of 10. Andy, I've got you first. I thought Chris might have seen it, so I've got you in the middle and I'm at the end. So Andy, lead off.
It's a randomly guilty pleasure. Like, I didn't know it was a remake when I first watched it. Only just found out it was a remake now. I like the idea of it. There does need to be more ghosts and stuff, but it's not a horror film, but as a thriller, it's pretty banging. So it gets a solid 6.
Solid 6. For all I guess it's all sneak there. Solid 6 from Andy. Chris.
I didn't find it scary at all. No. It was a bit shit. I guess a 3.
A 3 from Chris.
Great monster.
I write a little, but I can remember. I write a little bit of note here. So remember to say, I've just got one word. I've just got awful, and then I've got 1.
What?
I think this is the worst film we've done in a long while. I think this one. There is so much wrong with it. Like literally, my high points run out when Sharon Elizabeth and the other one are in the bathroom, and that's about half an hour into the film. And from then on, there's nothing good happens, and everything else is just questions and executing and doing things wrong for the rest of the film.
The lawyers,
I did not enjoy it.
And the ghosts are my +2 points.
Basically, yeah. I had to. I was like, I've got a 2 written down here, but I don't think it's even worthy of a 2, so I went down to a 1 before we started recording. Officially a 3, though. A 3 out of 10 because of Andy's really hefty 6 out of 10.
It's fucking a bagging film, this.
This drivel. Andy's his theme is stars we have never featured before. Tony Shalhoub, and I guess Sharon Elizabeth maybe as well attached on with this one. Those two mainly. To add on to his theme. We won't argue too much.
I'll give it Tony Shalhoub, but because he was top billed, I'd say.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely Tony Shalhoub. That's the whole point.
And we definitely will never do another starring Tony Shalhoub film, I don't think, at any point. Next time on the podcast is The Pick of Destiny, which we had to debate beforehand what the hell we were going to do. It's spooky season. It's the week before Halloween, so we're going back to classic horror again. 1974, possibly the beginning of the slasher horror movie genre. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, starring, I don't think anyone especially famous came out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but we might get a Kevin Bacon in Friday the 13th situation if I don't look into it too much. Any comments on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre before we watch it next week?
I can't remember. I've seen too many remakes. I have no fucking idea what's going on anymore.
It took me forever to find the original IMDb when we decided to do it. It tells you how many remakes and versions there are of this. I'm positive I've never seen the whole thing, and definitely not in one sitting. So 3 fresh pairs of eyes on let me quickly do the maths, 50-year-old movie? 50 years old. We're doing it, 29th anniversary, basically, of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yes. It's 29th, 59th anniversary. Anyway, whatever your anniversary is, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974, the original one, next time on the 10 Point Podcast.